Right now, behind the scenes of Hollywood.
Every movie that is made, no matter how horrible it is a miracle.
Movie producer Josh Rosenbaum on the work he's doing now to make Arizona like Tinseltown. Then it's time for In the Chat.
As a viewer, you're wondering, this part is acting, okay, that might be real.
The hooks of reality TV and the reasons we can't turn it off. Plus, a dose of nostalgia. From All My Children to Something Borrowed, actor Colin Egglesfield reveals lessons learned.
If you don't like where you are at in your life, much like a screenwriter, you get to write that second and third act of your life.
The way he's helping thousands find their purpose. A brand new Arizona's Family original with me, Yetta Gibson, starts right now.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
So we should do it together. Look, I never thought I'd get married again. You'd be lucky to have me.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
So you may not know this, but those classic films all have ties to Arizona. And tonight I sit down with an Arizona native who, because of his work in film, has made it into Oscar territory, repping our state the entire time.
I always grew up with this Arizona inferiority complex of I love this state so much, and we never advocate for ourselves.
Arizona, stunning landscapes, Hollywood just next door. You would think it would be a major player in the entertainment industry, but that's not always the case. But one Valley native is determined to flip the script.
That's why I kind of want to scream from the rooftops of Arizona has such a rich film history, and it's time to celebrate that. Brady Corbet, who just did, he's from Scottsdale. He's probably one of the most likely to win Best Director this year with his film The Brutalist. So it's just another opportunity for Arizona to rally behind our guy, Josh Rosenbaum, movie producer and partner with Waypoint Entertainment, the production company behind the Oscar-winning The Favorite. He has some serious Hollywood cred, but he's an Arizona guy at heart. Steven Spielberg grew up making films here, and yet we don't really talk about that.
What would you say to Steven Spielberg? Of course you say, what's the first thing you're gonna say to him?
I'd probably just be hey, do you want to go make a movie with us? Be no thanks, kid.
Yeah, just go right for it.
Yeah, no.
Why not?
Gotta shoot the shot.
Josh spotted Arizona's star power early, and he's in great company. Spielberg's semi-autobiography, The Fabelmans, taps into the director's Arizona roots, and Josh, well, he's quick to highlight other A-listers from State 48.
Emma Stone's from here, Meg Bryant's from here. The state has produced some iconic, cultural trendsetters. So we should be talking about it more.
A Sunny Slope High School graduate, Josh went from rocking out in a band and making home movies to graduating from USC without a clue on what would come next. That is until he landed at one of the biggest talent agencies in the game.
Just relax, it's Hollywood, baby.
I thought if I learn how to make my hardcore screamo band famous, surely I'll do that. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out.
Make it, and you're like, nah.
When I graduated from college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to do something in entertainment, but I didn't know what it was. I had done, internships at business places, and I was just this isn't for me.
Okay.
And I ended up going to a talent agency, which is what everyone was you don't know what you want to do, go into the meat grinder of a talent agency.
And one of the best ones you worked.
Yeah. I got to work at WME, which is the inspiration for Entourage.
Talent agencies responsible for managing entertainers' careers, handling everything from booking auditions to negotiating contracts. A priceless learning experience for him, and one Josh still recommends to anyone who's trying to get into the business.
I say you should go into an agency because it's kind of like grad school, and you get to see how all the different pieces of the puzzle all work together. And it's when you go there, straight out of college, it's a place where you can build a giant network.
And Josh has definitely built an impressive network, rubbing shoulders with some of Hollywood's biggest names.
You have been connected to some pretty heavy hitters: Jonah Hill, Leto, Woody Harrelson. What did you get from them, if anything, that gave you the perspective that you have now on filmmaking?
When you get to interact with these great creators and great actors, you know, it is inspiring to see how bold you can be, and you also learn the mistakes as well. And, you know, I think when you're an independent production company like we are at Waypoint, we have the ability to make mistakes and learn from them.
Yeah. He's quick to remind us the movie magic we see on screen comes from a mix of hard work and just a little bit of luck.
No one's making only good films.
No.
Yeah, anyone who says otherwise is lying to you. Everyone admits it. Like, you know, not everything we made is a perfect piece of art, but we at least want to be making that mistake by trying to make something original.
What do you think people don't realize about what you do before they sit in those seats?
How hard it is to get a film made. Like, every movie that is made, no matter how horrible it is a miracle. Like, it's truly a miracle. 1 out of 1,000 scripts written by screenwriters is good. 1 out of 100 of those will get financed. So there's just so many things that can go wrong, you know, and it is all the happy accidents that make it the film it is.
Yeah. Sometimes those happy accidents lead to critical acclaim and even an Oscar in an industry that never stops evolving.
My question too is the favorite, the Oscar. How did that change your view on what you're doing?
That was a very exciting ride. I think, you know, it was the first time being a part of a film that had a huge awards push. You know, getting nominated for 10 Oscars. It was an eye-opening experience, I think, to just see what goes into these, awards campaigns. For the longest time in Hollywood, if you made a hit, you could survive off of that. Everyone got to survive off of that one box office success for years.
And so now?
And now that doesn't exist. Everyone's struggling. The studios are struggling, right? And people aren't going to the movie theaters as they did before. Yeah. And DVDs don't exist, which is what was like giving everyone so much money. Yeah. Like, you can make a really bad movie and make a lot of money back then.
So with all those changes and with what's happening now, with all the options, why do you stay in it? Because it sounds like a challenge overall.
Well, because I think it's an opportunity right now.
For Josh, it's about the thrill, the challenge, the dream he's been chasing since he was a kid.
It's just so exciting. Like, every day is just like a whole new adventure of problems and like even
problems.
Even after you've seen the film 100 times and trying to make it better and better. Frankly, I don't think I've ever said it out loud, but it is like a childhood dream of, you know, going from like breaking my parents' camcorder, doing like stop motion Lego movies, to, you know, getting to make, you know, feature films that are released wide in theaters. Like, it is a dream come true, and it's exciting to get to have fun every day.
Not a lot of people get to realize that dream, so I think it's really cool that not only are you doing it, but you're trying to break through and be different.
Yeah.
So what is the big goal?
My biggest focus right now is to make films that, one, people want to go see, feel original, and you actually want to go to the theater to go see it, which not every trailer I'm seeing makes me want to go spend my money.
You want to bring movies back. You want to bring it back.
Yeah.
Now, Josh is focused on pushing the envelope with the genre films Waypoint is known for. With films like Hostels and mid-90s earning accolades, the company continued to make waves last year with horror film Cuckoo and psychological thriller Longlegs, starring Nicolas Cage.
Don't move.
I'm proud of all these films. I mean, I realize how young I am in this position, and I know that's, you know, in Hollywood, that is something that's possible.
You're making waves.
Yeah, making waves, getting hands dirty.
And, you know, I couldn't let Josh leave without asking one very important question.
My last question is, can I be in one of your movies?
Of course. Are you kidding?
I can emote.
I know, I can tell.
Just throw out an emotion.
You have, serious? You already have? Okay. Devastated. and overjoyed. All right, sold.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Then we just have to lobby the local legislation to get an incredible tax credit, and we can just be hanging out here all the time.
There he is, back to business. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're a joy.
This was great.
Is so awesome. Waypoint's film Cuckoo, by the way, is streaming on Hulu. Coming up, it's time to go in the chat.
Even if you are a die-hard reality show fan, you probably know that there is a bit of acting, a little bit of staging.
A former Bachelor enters the chat to weigh in on what keeps us coming back to reality TV. Plus, actor Colin Egglesfield.
You can't hide it in an audition. You have to walk into that room, revealing who you are.
The lessons learned in Hollywood, he now hopes you can apply to everyday life. All that and much more coming up on this episode of Arizona's Family Original with me, Yetta Gibson.
Dating in the pods is crazy, okay?
I'm 30.
So you're no longer attractive?
Oh my God.
Okay, no spoilers here, but season 8 of Love is Blind is almost over. The reunion is coming up soon. New Bravo Housewives dating series is coming up soon. So it got me thinking about reality TV in particular and what is it that's keeping us hooked? Take a look.
Even if you are a die-hard reality show fan, you probably know that there is a bit of acting, a little bit of staging. I saw this article in Everyday Psych. What makes these shows so engaging? As a viewer, you're wondering, this part is acting, okay, that might be real. That's what's keeping you engaged, according to psychologists who have analyzed this. Love is Blind, love that show. Love Island, Housewives, Atlanta's the best. What is it about reality shows in general that keep you watching? You know they're not real at this point. I shouldn't say that. It's real-ish.
So we got a couple of responses to this. Take a look at these. One person said, it's the drama. Another said, perhaps we can relate. Another person said they are hooked on the show Naked and Afraid. Haven't seen that, but they said even though they're pretty sure production steers the narrative on this show, she can't look away, she says, because people are doing something fascinating and scary. We have a very special guest joining us in the chat this week. It's former Bachelor Clayton Echard. Thank you for being here, giving us a scoop on what really happens on the reality shows. Did you agree with me on it's a little bit staged, a little bit of production?
I get this question asked a lot, so I can give you a very concise answer.
Okay.
For me, in my experience, 80% of it was real. 20% of the time I had to act a bit.
Okay, and when you say act, you mean what? Like exaggerate your reactions to things?
I had to make it seem like I was a little bit more upset or that I cared about certain drama that I didn't really actually care about.
What part of the production, you said 80-20, so what part shocked you the most about being on a reality show?
Well, probably the fact that I fell in love with 3 people at once.
Oh boy, that doesn't happen to you in real life?
Did not happen in Missouri, no, when I lived there.
What do you think is so fascinating about reality shows? Because obviously they keep popping up. We just showed a clip from Love is Blind. That's one of my favorites. I mean, there's a lot of them that are my favorites. But why do we, get so hooked onto these shows? Because even if you're not TV savvy, even if you haven't been on The Bachelor, you kind of know that some of this stuff is a little bit coerced.
I think the interest comes from the fact that what you're watching isn't normal day activities. I mean, you're watching like a Love is Blind where people can't see who they're talking to, or you're watching The Bachelor, which is based in polyamory. It's not even about a monogamous relationship. You're getting to date multiple people, which my brain couldn't wrap its mind around. Like, how can I kiss this girl and then I have a girl wipe off the lipstick, the next girl that comes up and then kisses me. I remember that time and I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, so it's like an experiment that you're watching with other people.
Yes.
How was your experience on the show overall? I mean, you were a regular guy, so to speak, and then you went on The Bachelor and then you come out of that, and what was life like after that?
I mean, it completely flipped my life upside down. It was worse at first. I was subjected to a lot of criticism because I was a somewhat polarizing bachelor.
Okay.
But now I found the silver lining in it all, and I've become, I found my self-love and self-confidence through doing the work. So now I'm very grateful, and I would do it 1,000 times over.
So would you say it was a lesson? You do it over again?
Every single time.
Okay, so are you still a bachelor?
As of right now, yes.
How are you dating differently, if you are?
Well, that's a story for another time. But basically,
we can do a whole nother show on this. Well,
yeah, there's some deeper rooted stuff. But yes, have I changed the way that I've dated? Absolutely. I have to be more cautious, I would say, because some people are trying to date me for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
That's a tagline from The Bachelor.
Okay, they're trying to date you for the wrong reasons.
So I threw a little Easter egg in there.
I wish I had more time because I really go in on that. You live in Arizona now?
Yes, I
do. And you moved here after the show?
Yeah, I dated the girl, Susie, from the show for about 9 months after the show finished airing, and then we broke up and I drove cross country to here where my brothers moved.
And what are you doing here?
Oh gosh, I do real estate, solar sales. I have my own Airbnb, which I property manage.
Okay.
And then I also have a studio that I co-own. And
they're podcasting studios.
Podcasting studio, yes.
Yeah. What would be your advice for people looking to date? Would you recommend, because dating's so hard these days, would you recommend they go on a show like this? Would you recommend they just, maybe work on themselves a little bit so they can be a good partner? I don't know. Is it a mix of both?
Well, I think there's an intrigue. Everyone has to have, their fun story to share, right, when they're on a first date. So I don't think it's a bad first story to have.
Yeah.
But I think that you should be healed and know who you are before you go on reality television. For me personally, yeah, that would have helped.
Yeah.
I went on not having done that.
Yeah, it sounds like you have kind of went on a self-exploratory journey. You're doing your podcast on mental health. I hear you are a hip-hop dancer. A little birdie told me that.
Yeah, the little birdie's correct.
Are you any good?
4 times a week.
Okay.
Not bad for a white guy.
Yes, not bad pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. You are awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
A lot of times we get miscast in the story of our own life. And so the reason why we feel anxious and frustrated and burned out is because we keep playing a role that we shouldn't be playing.
A story to inspire. Coming up, actor Colin Egglesfield. The lessons he's learned in his craft and the simple way you can apply them to your everyday life.
So 6 months into my 3-year contract on all my children, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer.
Oh my goodness.
So I was 32 years old, and it was the first time I was like, oh my God, I've got, this, I finally made it, And then all of a sudden,
boom, breaks.
God, the universe is like, hold on.
In tonight's Not Done Yetta, it's a story that inspires with actor Colin Egglesfield, who got his big break on All My Children. He lives here in Arizona now and recently made headlines for sharing his third now prostate cancer diagnosis. Despite every obstacle he's faced, Colin maintains a level head and reminds us all of the role we play in our own happiness.
Let's get one more drink.
You don't have to.
I want to.
Now I remember why I had such a crush on you in law school.
How come you never told me how you felt?
I'm sorry. I was just...
From charming audiences as Dax in Something Borrowed, to strutting the runways for Versace and Armani to magazine covers, Colin Egglesfield has lived the dream. Now he's on a mission to help others do the same.
You can't hide in an audition. You have to walk into that room, essentially bare naked from revealing who you are. You're exposed.
Colin, teaching people how to let go of their insecurities and follow their passion. A former acting coach's advice, the cornerstone of his philosophy.
She said, you're going to start getting roles, but guess what? 30% of the people that you meet, they're going to like you. 30% of the people, they're going to think you suck, that you're horrible. The other 40% don't care. So you might as well focus on what you love. You got to respect the role. By doing that, the right people will show up and honor you, but only if you honor yourself.
Colin's journey began far from the glitz of Hollywood and in the suburbs of Chicago. A kid with big dreams, but no clear path.
I used to lock myself in my bedroom building model airplanes. I was shy, introverted. I always felt this inclination to express myself in art. Always had these ideas and dreams of doing something special and different. That upbringing of go to school, get a job, have the family. Part of that felt a little confiding. And I heard on the radio, come to the Model Search America, you can travel the world. And I was like, that's what I want to do.
That was it.
Well, you walk in and there's like 10 agents. And
of course.
You have to do your little runway walk. And
wait, you went in and did a runway walk?
Yeah, you had to do a runway walk.
Oh, you're going to have to do that for me later.
Do you know how to runway walk?
I mean, I'll pretend. Are you going to teach me?
Oh, I'm going to teach you.
Oh, I cannot wait.
We'll get back to my runway dreams in a second, but Colin's casting call, a springboard to walking runways and gracing magazine covers. The next step, Hollywood. but self-doubt loomed large.
The only thing that was holding me back was this. But I was like, if I don't do this now, I will regret this for the rest of my life. And so I packed up my bags and moved out to Hollywood.
Wow.
And within a month of being out there, I booked this role.
What is that?
So it was All My Children. Growing up, my mom loved watching All My Children. I grew up watching Susan Lucci and Erica Kane on my TV while my mom was ironing. It was an amazing experience.
Over the years, Colin learned the importance of embracing who you are and taking bold chances, no matter your field.
We are our own worst enemies when it comes to doing things in life, thinking that we have to be perfect, that we have to know it all. And the only way that you're going to get better at doing something is to know that you're going to keep learning.
Colin has added author and podcaster to his resume and offers boutique-style retreats, aptly named Inspire, designed to help others step out of their comfort zones and rewrite their stories.
A lot of what we do as actors in acting class is to get out of our heads and into our bodies. Once you get into this place where you integrate mind, body, and spirit, you start to show up more fully empowered with who you are. Everyone has that ability to have that it quality. And if you were to look at your life as a movie, what I do is I have people look at where they are currently at in their life as Act 1. Who are the players? Who are the other characters? And if you don't like where you are at, you get to write that second and third act. A lot of times we get miscast in the story of our own life. The reason why we feel anxious and frustrated is because we keep playing a role that we shouldn't be playing. Appreciate what you have in life. Keep an eye on where you want to go.
And yes, Colin did help me with my runway walk, proof that it's never too late to strut toward your dreams.
Okay, we got to get into our bodies, got to loosen up, shoulders back, and now we got to make sure that we rotate our hips. For women, it's more of you got to cross over and you got to keep your arms down straight.
So it's horse steps.
It's horse steps. It's like this.
You guys better not laugh. Are you ready? Naomi Campbell, count me down.
Naomi. Okay, go, girl. There it is. There it is, baby. Yes.
Yes. You better recognize you better know who I am.
I don't care what you say, that was great. You can get one-on-one coaching with Colin at one of his Inspire retreats. He's hosting the Rejuvenation Retreat in Scottsdale, April 3rd through the 7th. He's also leading the City of Hope Hospital Cancer Fighters program for people battling cancer just like he is. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Arizona's Family Original. You can connect with me on Instagram. Our show's page handle is down below. We will see you again real soon. Oh my God, she's lying. But I thought you were shook. You know me, I'm like, well, who reported it? Oh my goodness, crazy. I'm having a moment now. I'm having a moment now. Okay, I'm sorry, finish.